Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Again, yes, this is 2 uploads in one day. Don't ask no questions, just enjoy. We're going to talk about some of the DLC news. Question of the day, what DLC news excites you the most? Answer it now, and then after we go through it all, let me know what excites you at the end of the video if it changed. But let's get right into it. So let's start with the important part, in my opinion, is the elephant in the room. The starters are returning. All of the starters, actually. So every single starter is going to be in this game. I don't know if that's happened before. Someone let me know in the comments if it has, but every starter is going to be in this game. And obviously, that means Incineroar. I told people Incineroar would be back. I knew it would be back. I knew it would be back once we knew they would allow Hisui Pokemon into the game, because if you're allowing Hisui Decidueye into the game, that means regular Decidueye is in the game. If regular Decidueye is in the game, that means Primarina and Incineroar are in the game, because they never released the starters by themselves outside of Legends Arceus, where it was like one starter from a different region. Any other time, the starters are always together. So Incineroar was always coming back. It was not no new decision. Get over it. The GOAT is the king has returned. But seriously though, it is going to be something really game changing. I believe it's going to be in the partner Pokemon returning from past titles in Blueberry Academy's Terrarium in part 2, the Indigo Disc. So they will be in DLC 2. So you got some time before they show up. But it's not just Incineroar, which is something that's going to be really important for this game, because as the power level goes up, Incineroar just becomes more and more important because it keeps things in check, whether you like it or not. It has a very necessary role in VGC. Terra is going to be good for a lot of the starters. It just depends on whether or not they get to thrive in a format that isn't full of restricteds yet. Like if we go straight into like a restricted format, then a lot of starters just aren't going to get a chance to run. But if we get a chance to run the starters in a format that is not restricted, then I think a lot of these Pokemon will have a chance to do something. For example, what's the one? Blaziken. Torchic into Blaziken. Blaziken with speed boost, right? It's something that's like really, really good. The things that held it back usually were like Intimidate, and its overall like damage output. And I think it's like, yeah, its overall damage output. I had to rely on like Flare Blitz, which is really strong, and like Brave Bird was good coverage, but it didn't get stabbed on those things, right? So now you can get stabbed on your Brave Birds. You can use a Clear Amulet to prevent the Intimidates. You can Terra to get more damage and then throw a life over there. You can increase its damage output while also just getting those passive speed boosts every single turn. So I do think like some like Blaziken would have a space necessarily. It may not be like top tier, but it'll have room to do some stuff. Pokemon like Venusaur, which were great in Generation 8, I think it'll still be really good now, because with the advent of like Overcloak and Terra, the best way to deal with like Venusaur and spreading sleep was to like fake it out, force it to Dynamax, hit it with Max Airstream, something like that. But like with its ability to have Hovercloak or Terra Ghost, or just something that resists its normal weaknesses, it can be a really bulky sleep spreader, and it can have a pretty strong damage output as well. So I think that's another thing to watch out for. Obviously, some of these starters are already here, like Typhlosion, which hasn't really made a big impact, but we'll see about stuff like Primarina, which is pretty tanky. And with Rillaboom no longer having like Grassy Glide to deal with it under Trick Room, and also the ability to Terra and get more damage out of like Liquid Voice, Hyper Voices, I think Primarina will be pretty solid Pokemon. And then we'll find out if the starters even get anything special. They might all get something special for all we know, or some of them might. But we'll find out. But obviously, Incineroar is the #1 starter of all time, and will probably continue to be so until some new starter comes out that takes its place. Next, what can we move on to? Oh, so there's some new moves coming out as well. One of the new moves is Upper Hand. So Upper Hand is a fighting type physical move. The user reacts to the target's movements and strikes with the heel of its palm. If the target was trying to use a priority move, Upper Hand will get the jump on them, allowing the user to attack first and cause the opponent to flinch without fail. It means every time this move connects, every time you make the correct prediction where they go for priority and you stop them, they will flinch every single time. And it will fail if the target wasn't using a priority move. Now, obviously, this is going to mean like priority attacks. It doesn't mean like Protect or Tailwind, Pranks to Tailwind. It's just going to mean priority attacks. Kind of like Sucker Punch. So that's what this is going to be. This is like, because it's a fighting type move at that, this makes me believe this was like a direct answer to Dragonite. I think they just saw it like just being kind of oppressive. So I think this is a direct answer to that, right? They could have easily made this like a normal type move, or something like that, but making it a fighting type priority blocker just really makes me feel like it's for Choice Band Dragonite exclusively. They should have had his picture. They tried to put like Scizor, but nobody's running Scizor, right? Like that ain't for no dang Scizor. It's for Dragonite. But it will create some crazy mind games, so we'll see how it plays out when it actually comes. I don't think, unless priority continues to like dominate stuff, I don't know how justifiable it is to have this on your team, unless you need a dedicated like priority answer. Then it's fine, because then you can use it against like, well, Palafin not as relevant now, but like Palafin, Dragonite, I guess if people do want to still use Scizor. This one is much more interesting in my opinion. The new move, Psychic Mode. The Psychic type special move deals damage as it bathes its target in abrasive sound wave. The attack also prevents the user from recovering HP through moves, abilities, and items for a certain number of turns. So it's probably like 4 turns. So you can't use rest, because I think this is get this stupid Dundozo out of here. The opposing Dundozo prevented from healing, so it can't rest. You can't use leftovers to get recovery. What abilities would do it? What moves? Oh, moves like Heal Pulse. Maybe even Pollen Puff. We'll find out, because you think something blocks Pollen Puff, then find out it doesn't block Pollen Puff. But Pollen Puff, Heal Pulse, Lunar Blessing. Lunar Blessing is a big one. This is going to be really good against Lunar Blessing, because you just click it and it can't get any healing. So it makes me believe that since you can't recover HP, so the thing that I'm wondering about, and they probably showed it in the trailer, like, does it stop rest completely and you can't go to sleep and you can't heal? Because with Lunar Blessing, I want to know, does it allow you to still heal the status but not recover the HP? That's something we can find out when the actual move drops. Like I said, it might be in the actual trailer itself. This is no, I didn't want to go into that yet. Oh, I want to go into these things. I'm going to go into these moves. So we obviously know that we have 2 new Paradox Pokemon. Oh, you know what? Let's actually look at this real quick. The sound's going to be off, but I'm going to play real fast just to see if they allow the Dundozo to rest. Oh, so they didn't go for rest? Oh, yeah, you can't rest because of Heal Block. Okay, hold on. Wait, that's important. Wait, show it. Oh, that's not. Wait, let me go back, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, can't you rest because of the Heal Block? Okay, so because you can't rest either, so you can't even heal like status, because rest would allow you to still go to sleep. You can't even use the move, so you can't even click Lunar Blessing after someone does Psychic Notes. That's huge. That's actually insane. That's a really strong move. If it has a decent base power, so it's like worth having as a Psychic type move as it is, that's actually really strong. That's really strong. And then the next one, I just go into the thing. So obviously we have the Raging Bolt, which has this move, Thunderclap, strikes before a target's attack. We don't know the base power. I do believe it's a physical electric move that works like Sucker Punch. I need to know what, either this thing has a buku high attack stat, or that move has a really strong base power. I bet with like some Pokemon Showdown stuff, if you like go to use a Terra, what's it called? What's that? A Terra Iron Bundle, you Terra it to something that's weak to like Steel, like Fairy, and then like Calc Bullet Punch, you can probably get a general idea of how much strength the move has. So if you guys want to do it in the comments, let me know what your estimates are for the base power of that move. But yeah, I think that one is actually really, really strong, because even this electric type coverage is just still strong, right? Like dark type is resisted by so many things. Electric is only resisted by like grass and grass, dragon, and ground. Ground is immune, but like this thing has dragon coverage as it is, because it's a dragon type, so you can still hit dragon types with it. So that only leaves grass and ground, right? And you can play around that if you can hit everything else. It's kind of how like Sucker Punch is resisted by Dark and Fairy. This one here, I forgot its name, but Iron Crown, Steel Psychic. I remember this name, even though they showed it on screen for me. This one has a special type Steel move that hits twice in a row, guaranteed. So I do want to know what the base power is. Now, the fact that the second one is one-shotting the Mimikyu makes me feel like the base power is pretty strong, which it's a bit odd, right? Because like, I want to stop, because usually multi-hit moves aren't that strong, right? At best they're 40, and I just don't know what base 40 move just OHKOs Mimikyu, right? So like, is it like a base 60, 65, maybe something higher? We'll have to find out about that, because that actually is not something I thought about until I just watched it right now, is that it's essentially OHKOing the Mimikyu. So it has. I don't think it was boosted by anything. So that's actually insane. It wasn't in Terra, so that is something to check for because that's actually really interesting to note that it's doing that. I hate that it's a psychic type, right? Just pure steel would have been fine because then you could have like something to play against like Fluttermines with. Yes, psychic helps it not take super effective damage from fighting, but there's not that much fighting coverage. Just Urshifu, you can play around that. But of course they had to make it like Fluttermane weak. They make everything in this game Fluttermane weak, and it can be a little bit annoying. Since I'm already here, let's go ahead and do this. So they got this new Rainbow Terra stuff, and this is interesting, right? Because it looks really, really cool. And they don't really give you that much insight into it, other than this over here, which I actually do have pulled up. Oh well, I did have it. There it goes. 19 type has been discovered. So the only information they give us, is that this is neutral into the Dragonite. So we don't know if it's hitting anything for super effective. It might just be like some kind of Omni Terra kind of thing where you can hit everything for neutral damage, nothing can resist you, and you also get like some kind of stab boost on it. And it seems like all Pokemon will have access to it because Baxcalibur is not, there's nothing special about Baxcalibur that would give it access to this 19 Terra type. So yeah, something about it seems different than the 18 Terra types we've seen before, but much is yet unknown. What is the truth behind this 19 Terra type? So I do think that this is going to be some kind of like neutral damage, but you get like stab on it and you can hit everything for neutral. There might be more to it than that. Maybe you also take neutral damage from everything, so you don't have any resistances or weaknesses. I think really bulky Pokemon could benefit from something like this. So we'll find out how it plays out when it actually releases. So is there any other news that I covered all? Any other news that makes sense to cover? Let's go back. There's also just like the forms. We knew Terra forms were coming for a while, and it makes sense that the 2 legendaries for each DLC is going to get one. I wouldn't be surprised if something else gets one. I hope that like Meowscarada gets a Terrestrial form. That would be really, really nice for it because it just got shafted once Regulation B started and Iron Bundle and Fluttermane became a thing. And then even worse when Chien-Pao and Chi-Yu became a thing. So somebody please rescue Meowscarada. It deserves so much more than it got. It was such a good Pokemon in Regulation A. Otherwise, I don't think I got anything left to go over here. So again, question of the day, what DLC news excites you the most? For me, it's probably the starters returning over anything else. Also, I guess the new Paradox, because the reason it's so exciting for me is because that means we're going to get a Paradox Entei and Terrakion. And out of the legendary dogs, I really do like using Entei the most. My favorite is probably Suicune, but competitively I really like Entei the most. And Terrakion is for sure my favorite Sword of Justice. So I can't wait to see what that gets. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being subscribed. Thank you guys for clicking the like for your boy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.